So Mickey, you've had a lot to say about the benefits of sport and that sport is so good for people. Why is that? What is it that's so good about sport?
Well, there's many reasons. I find for myself it releases a lot of stress. Also, it builds a lot of confidence. Like in my martial arts, lots of martial arts have different belt levels, and then people can actually see themselves climbing up, moving up the ladder, so it builds confidence. And with martial arts also, you have to generally train with someone else, so you get some social skills, so that person you're actually working with becomes a partner with you. So you're actually building team skills on top of that. So it's all-rounded. Not only is it good for your physical health and mental health, but also you're learning to defend yourself at the same time. Yeah.
But that's okay for you to say. You're a black belt in 2 different forms of martial arts. What about somebody who's not a black belt, who might be a beginner or not so good at sport?
It applies to all different lifestyles, anything that you want to do. Like I say to people, if they do martial arts and they go, this doesn't suit me, I go, try another style. You know, that one might suit you better. But then if you're not a sports orientated person, you can always choose another field in your life. It could be just reading. You know, you could be start analysing books, and you can build up lots of reading skills, you know, and relating to other people. Yeah,
so it's a little bit more diverse, isn't it, than at first glance? I've always thought of sport as being a competitive thing, but I've heard you describe it as a creative thing. Help me understand that. What does that mean?
Well, as you're moving up the ranks in martial arts, and you're getting close to your black belt, they do tell you that once you get your black belt, you're actually starting all over again, basically. So you start to develop your own style. So people actually see that as you're moving through the ranks, that you do start to tweak things, you kick a little bit differently, or you hold people a little bit differently. And so it becomes your own style, and then you can actually teach that to others.
Okay, so each individual person has their own creative element? Is that how it works?
Yes, because we're all different body types and sizes. So someone small like me is actually the perfect height for martial arts, because we can actually throw people over our shoulders, whereas a taller person can't. So they actually have to throw people around them. So that's the creative part when they're adjusting.
Okay, that's really interesting. I'd never seen it that way. So what do you do or do you have anything on offer for people who might be interested in learning more about martial arts and some of the creative and expressive sides of martial arts?
Yeah, because a lot of people have come to me asking, because I've actually reached national level in my martial arts. So I actually help them go to clubs and pick out which instructors would be more suitable for them. And we've also just started up the martial arts tours, where we actually go around to different styles now and going to different clubs. So our next tour is to Kukikwan in Korea, which is the actual home and heartland of Taekwondo. So we'll be going there.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I might have to join you on that tour.
I'd love to see you there.
Thank you very much, Mickey. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Laurie. Hi, Laurie. You're involved in engineering and construction projects, and we're all hearing about all these blowouts and all these huge big projects that are going on at the moment that the taxpayer has to foot the bill. But you actually have an idea about what can be done about this.
Yes, I do, and it's not just a cost overrun, it's a serious blowout. So it's actually $28 billion of taxpayers' money in the last 15 years. And it's just not just government either, private industry are making the same mistakes. So I work in project controls, and what we're about is setting up systematic processes to help people who are delivering projects to have an automatic process for tracking and monitoring to help steer those projects to make them more successful.
All right. So what qualifications, you're an engineer, so what qualifications can you actually obtain to do this job?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. So one of the problems we have is that there is no qualification system. There is no university, there is no TAFE college for project controls. It's really interesting, so we actually all just wind up falling into the job. And depending on what environment you're in, you learn on the job and you sort of adopt the processes from there. So what happens is, here in Australia we have a wide combination, like a big melting pot. Some are cowboys, some are pretty good, some are at the highest level, but there's no way of distinguishing in between or creating benchmarks or education. So what we're trying to do is establish a certification system and a register so that we can recognise the people who are doing the job well, but also help educate the people who might have landed in the wrong work environment to get them up to a certain level. And what we're thinking is that by doing that, we're going to help government, because government will be able to identify competent people. We're going to help graduate engineers because they're going to have a career path that they can follow. And we're going to help the community because these projects will then be delivered better with better outcomes and better use of government money.
Oh, so how do people actually get involved then in these courses or learning how to do this?
Well, we're looking at adopting an international system, so it's already used in North America and Europe and other places by ACE International. So it's a certification system, and we're aiming to get that recognised by government and then providing training courses. So coming up, the next training course that I have is an integrated planning and control masterclass, which is a one-day workshop, but that'll also go through some of the different training and certification options for people.
Oh, well, I'd like to thank you for sharing all your information with us, Laurie.
My pleasure.